So let's head down to a pretty remote bay in Baja, California, where something really unique is happening. You've got this collision of ancient tradition, cutting-edge, high-speed sports, and, yeah, apex predators. What's at stake here? Well, only the future of one of the most incredible marine ecosystems on the entire planet. Okay, let's dive into how one local community is literally building a new operating system for survival.
Everything starts with this one sentence. This line from an official letter from the community's leadership is basically the core code for this entire system. It's a declaration, right? It's a filter for the future. It sets the terms for anyone, and I mean anyone, who wants to come into this amazing corner of the world. This is the bedrock for a whole new way of thinking about managing resources. So what's the big deal here? What's the problem they're trying to solve? Well, Bahia de la Ventana is a global magnet. On one hand, it pulls in world-class marine life. We're talking orcas, whales, huge schools of rays. But its famous winds also bring in the best kite surfers, wing foilers, and windsurfers from all over the globe. And that creates this super complex, high-stakes environment where everybody wants something different from the same space. And this chart, it really breaks down the core conflict. You've got the traditional fishers in their pangas. These are their small, open fishing boats, and their families have worked these waters for generations. And then you have these athletes on hydrofoils, which are basically underwater wings that let them fly across the water at insane speeds. Now, throw in the ecotourism boats trying to get a quiet look at the wildlife, and you can see how the bay's own success has basically put everyone on a collision course. And if that wasn't enough, there's this huge external threat just looming over everything. The coastline around here is like a graveyard of failed ambitions. You see these ghost resorts, places like the infamous Bahía de los Sueños, the Bay of Dreams. They're just monuments to this cut-and-run style of development that promised everything and left nothing but crumbling buildings and trashed resources. This is the predator the community is trying to keep out. So with all this pressure, you gotta ask, who has the right to set the rules? Who actually gets to manage this place? Well, the answer isn't some government agency in a faraway city. It's found in a legacy of stewardship that goes back way, way back, and it's rooted deep in the local community itself. Look, the community's claim to manage this bay isn't some new idea. It's grounded in 1,000 years of history. It starts with the indigenous Paracu people. They were expert divers and sailors. Then it continues with the founding fishing families like the Luceros and the Giraldos, who literally built this community from the sea up. It even includes the early windsport pioneers who first saw the potential here. And now, a new generation is taking all that history and weaving it into a totally modern conservation plan. And, this isn't just a cultural claim. It's legally binding. This authority is formalized through a system that's pretty unique to Mexico, the ejido system. Under Article 27 of the Mexican Constitution, community groups, the ejidos of Agua Amarga, La Ventana El Sargento, and others, hold legal title to the land. This gives them the actual power to create management plans and enforce rules. And they work with every level of government, from the local municipality all the way up to federal marine authorities, to make sure there's safety and security for absolutely everyone, from the beach to the bay. So how did they deal with all this pressure? They didn't just make a list of rules. No, they did something way more sophisticated. They actually designed a social and safety operating system for the entire bay, a protocol that everyone, whether you're a local or a tourist, has to plug into. At the absolute heart of this system are two key documents. You've got the Acuerdo de Seguridad, the Safety Accord. Those are the hard rules for being on the water. But just as important is the Código de Respeto, the Code of Respect. This is what blends those strict safety rules with a deep sense of cultural and environmental reverence. You can think of them as the system's core programming. And here's how it actually works. The rules are super clear, totally non-negotiable. You log your float plan so people know you're out there and when you're expected back. You carry the right safety gear, especially helmets if you're foiling at high speed. But the most crucial rule, the one that says it all, is number 3. Pangas have priority. That's not just a traffic rule, okay? It's a powerful statement that the traditional livelihood of the bay comes first. All sports users have to respect that. This is what community-led regulation looks like. But this whole system doesn't just manage what's happening inside the bay. To protect against those outside threats, those ghost resort developers, the community has turned information into a weapon. They've turned simple observation into a powerful legal shield. The strategy is called countermapping, and it's brilliant. Here's the idea. Predatory developers love what you might call data deserts, places where they can just waltz in and claim their project will have no significant impact, because who has the data to prove them wrong? Well, countermapping completely flips that script. The community gathers its own incredibly detailed environmental data, creating an undeniable legal baseline that shows just how valuable the ecosystem really is. And this is what that data looks like. Every single boat trip, whether it's for fishing or for tourism, becomes a data gathering mission. Captains are logging GPS coordinates, species counts, even the acoustic modes they use during an observation. This citizen science log creates an ironclad legal record. So when a developer comes along, the community can pull up time-stamped geotagged proof of, say, a brand new orca calf being born right where that developer wants to build a marina. Try arguing with that. So what's the result of this whole intricate system of rules and data collection? Well, it's created a thriving, future-proofed ecosystem. And maybe more importantly, it's created a powerful new model for how communities everywhere can manage their own backyards. 16. That's it. That's the maximum number of permitted boats allowed inside the 110,000-hectare orca sanctuary at any given time. And get this isn't a limit that the government imposed. It's a stricter, self-imposed cap created by the community. They did it to protect the acoustic health of the bay, proving that local stewardship can actually be tougher and more effective than top-down regulation. And the biological payoff? It's undeniable. The local orca population is up 15% in just 5 years. 3 new calves were documented in 2026 alone, and scientific analysis shows the animals are in excellent physical shape. I mean, the proof is in the data. The system is working. But maybe the most amazing result is something scientists are starting to call trust inheritance. Think about this. Because of the community's consistent, respectful behavior, the low boat counts, the silent observation, always giving the animals space, a new culture is actually emerging within the orca pod. The calves are learning from their mothers that the local boats aren't a threat. They're just a neutral, maybe even interesting, part of their world. Which really just leaves us with one big question. In a world facing so many complex environmental threats, could this kind of hyper-local, deeply integrated, data-driven model, a code built by the guardians of the bay themselves, actually be the future of conservation? The orcas of La Ventana certainly seem to think so.